Hey fellow Earth scientists, welcome to the Great Blue Hill, 10 miles away from my home in the Boston area. Though it may not look like much, its slopes and trails tell a fascinating geologic story.
The name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts originates from the name of the Massachusetts indigenous tribe. The name itself is derived from the Massachusetts name for the Great Blue Hill, located in Milton, Massachusetts. So what is so notable about this hill that the Massachusetts tribe would define themselves around it? Great Blue Hill, whose English name was given by early European explorers, is the tallest point in the immediate Greater Boston area. It stands out because of its elevation, contrasting the largely flat terrain which surrounds it, as well as its characteristic bluish hue. Both of these two facts are due to the Great Blue Hill's volcanic history. The Blue Hills Reservation, which includes the Great Blue Hill, sits on top of an ancient volcano that was active about 440 million years ago. Therefore, while most of the rock outside the Blue Hills area is sedimentary, the Great Blue Hill is primarily composed of a granite rock called rhyolite, which gives the hill its salient blue color. But while the Blue Hill area does rise above its surroundings, its elevation doesn't even reach 200 meters, and the Great Blue Hill hardly looks like a volcano these days. So how did it take its current form? And how does this intrusive, internally formed granite found its way to the surface? Like all granites, this rhyolite originally formed in a magma chamber far underground. It then slowly cooled, and over the last 440 million years, the volcano erupted and formed a caldera. This caldera further collapsed and the rock on top eroded away, so today we are left with a mountainous and cobbled surface. Additionally, the Great Blue Hill's modest height certainly does not reflect a modest geological and anthropological history. On the Great Blue Hill and in surrounding areas, one can find many outcrops of stone where the Massachusetts natives dug out or broke off portions of the slate and hornfels. These metamorphic rocks, known as Massachusetts hornfel and Braintree slate, were formed through heat from rising plumes of granitic lava. These rocks are unique to the area and can be found nowhere else in the world. The pictures here show preforms, or partially made stone tools, formed from the local hornfels. The presence of these rocks, whose extreme hardness and cleavability made for ideal tools, meant that the hill was very important for the Massachusetts people. These Blue Hill preforms were carried all across the area, and some have even been found in Rhode Island. Beyond the volcanic rocks in this area, interesting sedimentary rocks can also be found. On the southern side of the park, some younger sedimentary rocks have been deposited on top of the granite. These are known as Pondville conglomerates and are composed of enormous boulders. They were formed around 300 million years ago, just as the supercontinent Pangaea came together. At the time, Boston was at the edge of a huge mountain range, so flowing water eroded much of these sedimentary rocks, though some of it is still visible. Here, you can visibly see the contact between the older volcanic rock and the more recently formed conglomerates.
I grew up spending a lot of time hiking the Blue Hills, though before this class, I would have never considered it to be more than an earthen mound. Investigating the rocks present not only reveals the complex geology of this humble hill, but also exposes the important anthropological history of the area and the fascinating seismic events of the Boston area which took place millions of years ago.